You're watching the AI Report. This will be a fun episode. Let's get into it. The Copyright Office at the Federal Register is conducting a study on copyright laws and policy issues regarding AI, and is requesting comments that will be included in the Library of Congress and possibly be considered when crafting new laws and regulations regarding AI. You can comment on 4 questions: the use of copyrighted works to train AI models, the copyrightability of material generated using AI systems, potential liability for infringing works generated using AI systems, and the treatment of generative AI outputs that imitate the identity or style of human artists. Honestly, I'm not sure if this has any real-world effects. I don't want to be too pessimistic. I know that the knee-jerk reaction here is to assume that nobody will ever look at these comments, ever. Or maybe a tired, overworked intern will read some of them once and maybe fall asleep immediately. And there will be all sorts of people commenting here, most of whom will likely not have an informed opinion. And that may all be true. This may be just the illusion of democracy, and AI regulation will be crafted the same way every other regulation is crafted, behind closed doors and with close cooperation with the big corporations. But I have this annoying habit of assuming the slightly better than the worst option when I'm faced with uncertainty. Usually, if you think about it, things don't turn out that bad, so it's not an optimal strategy to always expect the worst. That's why yours truly did his good citizen homework and actually made a comment that probably nobody will ever read. Yeah, I took 10 minutes required to organize my ramblings into the most coherent way possible and submitted them to the US Copyright Office, and they will be included in the Library of Congress forever. I think that's the minimal requirement for anyone who wants to be able to complain about AI. At least make the effort and give the supposedly legit mainstream democratic way a shot. If it doesn't work, which honestly I suspect it won't, but still I'm giving it a shot. But if or when it doesn't work still, then you can complain as much as your little whining heart desires. A link to the website where you can comment is in the description of the video. Okay, while we're at AI regulations, DeepMind co-founder Mustafa Suleyman thinks that the US should only allow Nvidia to sell AI chips to players who agree to play by the same rules and standards that the US companies will play by. Yeah, I think that the US is actually doing something similar with the current bans. There's also an economic incentive there, obviously, but there is probably some ethical angle as well. Next, OpenAI published a guide for how teachers can use ChatGPT in the classroom. They can use it to roleplay, create quizzes and tests and lesson plans, make it easier for students who don't speak the language, etc. They even provide a few prompts here. Wow. We have come a long way from the teacher beating the students with a ruler. The intro of the guide mentions AI detectors, but the guide itself doesn't really say anything about that. That may be a wrong path to pursue anyway. It may be impossible to track if something was generated by an AI, the same way you can't track if a calculation has been made manually or by using a calculator. Maybe the teachers should start thinking more about how they can spark the curiosity of their students and teach them how to think creatively and critically instead of making them study for the test. Moving on, the AI gold rush may be responsible for up to 10% of Anguilla's GDP. That's mostly thanks to the country's top-level domain, which is .ai. Honestly, I had no idea that was Anguilla's national top-level domain. I always assumed people just knew AI was gonna become a thing, so there were simply AI domains since forever. Like there's .org or .biz or .net. Cool, I think I will contribute to Anguilla's GDP myself pretty soon. Next, an AI system developed by a team of researchers at the startup Osmo can predict how a chemical will smell based only on its molecular structure. The AI will provide familiar descriptions such as smell of grass or fruity smell, or the bean casserole that's been in your fridge since 2018. The tool might be used in the food and cleaning industry and maybe even describe smells of chemicals that don't exist in nature. Okay, good. Maybe this tool can finally explain the smell of the male gym locker room. I'm pretty sure that's how ancient Sparta smelled. Moving on, restaurant chains are going big on AI. Chipotle, Starbucks, Domino's, White Castle, Taco Bell, KFC, all the enemies of the human body, they will use AI to predict traffic in their locations, prepare the food up front, and set the prices so that they can extract as much money out of you as possible. I'm pretty sure they're gonna use AI to engineer new diabolical flavors that will get you hooked on their sugar, salt, fat monstrosities as well. Who am I kidding? I'm probably gonna order some ridiculously greasy extra cheese, extra mushroom pizza after this, and the AI already knows that. By the way, since we mentioned mushrooms, please don't write a garbage book with AI on mushroom foraging. Even though the AIs are cool, they still can't be trusted to recommend mushrooms that are not poisonous. Please don't kill anyone with your AI book. In general, I'm not sure how this problem will be solved. I can't see a future where brands that build trust and guarantee that their books are mostly written by human experts will be considered premium, and people would gladly pay the price for it. I don't see AI-generated garbage books stopping, however. In fact, I might even do something to make that problem worse very soon. And finally, since we're talking about AI-generated art that's possibly garbage, Queen guitarist and cool hippie old dude you met on a train ride through the Swiss Alps that tells you what it was like in the 70s, Brian May, thinks that 2023 might be the last year where humans dominate the music scene. May believes that in a year from now, we may not be able to tell apart human and AI-generated music. For him, there is a somewhat scary prospect, it seems, but also some good can come out of it, since more people can express themselves in easier and more accessible ways. All I can say now is that after I'm done recording this, I'm gonna use a few different AI tools to help me create the final video, since I'm not really a video person. It won't be the next Mr. Beast video, but it will be a decent product that helps me send my message and reach people who might be interested in it. As an individual creator with a still somewhat limited budget, AI seems to be my ally right now. I can see a world where that's the case for a lot of other creators and entrepreneurs, and that's the way it is. That was the AI Report. Like and subscribe if you're resonating with this message and format and attempts at humor. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.